Hey everybody, it's Josh. Welcome back to the channel. And as you can see, we have another mess on our hands. So let's take a closer look here. We have a huge, what I believe to be swarm of bees at the bottom of this hive. And you can see, just like last time, they've taken residence up in between the 4x4s and the front here and way underneath. So I think I'm going to call this one What a Mess 2.0 because this seems to keep happening to me. So let me tell you what I think happened. And I'm just speculating here because there's absolutely no way to know. So rewind about a week ago. I've had a couple colonies that have absconded on me that I've lost, and I believe it's because of the ApiGuard. For whatever reason, I just think it was too much for them. Even though it was 25 gram doses, I think they just said, you know, peace out, we're out of here. So one hive of the three, I believe, so it's one of the ones over there, I actually witnessed swarming. Not actually leaving the hive, but a giant cloud of bees around here. And then they proceeded to land over here in one of these trees. Now, that was literally the evening before I left on vacation to head to Michigan. So there was absolutely nothing that I could do. So I just left them. All right. It was a huge, pretty large swarm, but it was pretty high up. I just didn't have time to rehome them. So I believe, so when I came back from Michigan, I went out here and this cluster of bees was all over the front of this hive, just like they are below now. So I think what happened was that colony swarmed, and I believe they aborted the swarm. I think, and this is what just adds to the confusion, they didn't go back to the original colony. They found a new place. And I'm gonna check here pretty soon, but I believe there's a full colony in here because this is one of the splits that I did recently. This colony is trying to requeen itself. So this colony had queen cells in it, queen cups. Just a few days ago when I checked it, there was 4 or 5 in there. So there should be, by now, maybe, or within a few days, a few virgins walking around in there that should be going on their mating flights here pretty soon, or at least one of them should. Why they chose this hive to come back to, I have no idea. Bees are going to be bees, okay? So, last night, big storms rolled through Kentucky here, okay? They quickly determined that the very front of this hive is probably not the best place to hang out. So that's why they went underneath. So I came out this morning, found them underneath, and now I have to figure out what I'm going to do. I speculate, pure speculation on my part, that there is no queen in here. And the reason I say that is this colony has been hanging out on the front of this hive for a day or two, and they're not actively trying to build comb. The last time this happened, if you watched my What a Mess 1.0, they were already actively building comb in here. Now, I could be dead wrong. When I get in here in a few minutes and start pulling these bees off and rehoming them over here, there may be comb in there. If there is, that's a very positive sign that they're queen right inside this swarm. I suspect they're queenless. Again, I have no idea. I'm hoping to find out here in just a few minutes. But my plan is to take all the bees that are here and gently place them in a new home over here. And if there's no signs of any queen, and I see bees leaving the entrance and not staying, I'm going to try to steal a frame or two of brood from another hive. I believe this one is queen right. I know these are all queen right. These 4 hives are doing amazing. Put the frame of brood in there, see if they'll stay and raise a new queen. They may all leave. This may be completely a moot exercise. And I put all these bees in this hive, and I come back tomorrow and they're still clustered under here. That is 100% a possibility because, yeah, they think this is their new home and they think it's great. So that's my game plan. Like I said, I think I'm going to call this one What a Mess 2.0. The difference is I don't believe they've been here long enough to build a substantial amount of comb, if they are indeed building comb under this hive now. I believe that they just recently took shelter under here because the storm that was coming down last night or the day before. I can't remember. All the days are running together right now in the yard because I'm just exceptionally busy. So I'm going to try to rehome them and we'll see what happens. So I figured, you know, let's take you guys along for the ride. All the other colonies seem to be doing good. I've got food on them. The last round of ApiGuard, round 3, is on these hives. The black boxes are Vivaldi boards. All of those are on. I've got syrup on top of that. So they seem to be doing okay. All these colonies are queen right. I went through them and checked them recently. So yeah, we're going to try to rehome this mess and see what happens. So here we go. You guys said, I've got this microphone on again. You guys said in the last video that it was sounding a lot better. So I'm glad to hear that. This ought to be fun. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm gonna inspect this hive. I'm going to go through it and just see what's in the hive. Here's what sucks is it's only been about a week and a half since this split was performed. And so there's absolutely no chance that I have a laying queen in here. Well, okay, you should never say never. Slim to no chance that I have a laying queen in here because they had to raise a new queen and it just hasn't been long enough. So I believe it takes 18 days for a new queen from egg to emergence. We're getting very close to that, so I fully expect to see a either fully drawn queen cell in here, multiple queen cells, or maybe even one that's emerged. The problem is with these splits, if you intervene too much in here, you can actually get your queen killed. You can disrupt the hive, and they can say, you know what, we're just gonna kill her now. And it's one of those things where too much intervention is a bad thing. So I'm kind of torn. I don't want to get into this hive. Maybe I'll just open the top and look to see if there are bees in here and how many seams of bees are in here. That it appears that a colony is still inside this hive. I'm actually talking through this as I'm recording this video. So I think I'm just going to pull the top off this, look inside, see if there's bees inside, but I'm not going to pull any frames because I really, really don't want to disrupt this hive while it's trying to requeen itself, especially during a time when drone populations are going down. Drones are getting kicked out of the hives right now. The bees are getting ready to head into the fall and then get into the winter. Drones are no longer welcome in the hive. I still see drones through my hives, but I'm just saying we're entering that period in August where drone populations are on a decline, and it can be more difficult for virgin queens to successfully mate. We're not there yet. I want to be very clear on that because it's the very beginning of August. We're still in the first week of August, but we're heading towards that point. So if I intervene too much in this colony, I could do more harm than bad. But I also didn't expect a giant swarm of bees to take residence underneath this colony. So that's what I'm going to try to do, and we'll see what happens. Smoker tried to wow me while I was talking. Alright, now I put these bricks on here just to remind me. You know, Don Chezik, my buddy who lives here in Oldham County, has a brick coloring system, which I think is very slick, and I think I'm going to adopt at some point. Even though I take extensive notes in my app, I don't take notes in my app while I'm out here in the yard, so that's the downside. He's got different colored bricks that mean things to him. I've kind of adopted that to a certain point. If I put one of these small bricks on a colony, it means that it's currently trying to requeen itself. So it just helps you remember. If you only have 1 or 2 hives, not a big deal, but as soon as you get up to 10, 15, 20, 25 hives, trying to remember what's going on with every single hive can be quite difficult. So let's see what's going on inside this colony. Let's see if there's any bees inside here. I am feeding sugar syrup on this colony, so I don't know. We're gonna find out real quick what's going on. Okay, so there are bees in here taking the syrup down at least. I know you won't be able to see that, but bear with me. I'm just gonna move this feeder over temporarily. They've drawn a little more than half the syrup down. But I want to take a look in here and see what's going on. So let's remove this Vivaldi board and see if we got bees in here. We do not. So that is a positive note. That it appears, and perhaps the ApiGuard is the culprit here, that these bees have absconded out of this hive because the conditions are not very nice. So I thought this colony was queen right. They're not, or I'm not, sorry, not queen right. I thought this colony was in here, but they're not. So I'm gonna go ahead and pull a frame or two and just look at it. Well, so there are some bees in here. I tell you what, this is wild. It almost seems like half the bees, not half of them, but some bees are in here. So I do have some bees on a frame here, not many. Looking for any signs of life, scanning for any sort of queen, virgin, or mated queen, which would blow my mind if there's a mated queen in here. Nope. This is why I thought it was empty, because there's plenty of frames here in the middle with little to no bees on it. Nope. Now I think maybe these could be bees that are robbing this colony out, but there's no honey in this colony. There's no food in here. There's nothing. Bunch of empty frames. So I don't know, when I did this split, all the bees have emerged. These are all empty frames. Empty frame. Empty, empty, empty. So only these two frames, small amount of bees on them. I'm going to stick them in the middle. I really suspect what's happened here is this colony absconded. For whatever reason, decided to come back but not go inside the colony because, I'm assuming and guessing, the thymol made it uninhabitable inside here, but they still associated this area as their home. So they left, aborted, came back, but they said, no thank you, not going inside there, it still stinks inside there. So I'm hoping if I remove the ApiGuard and I put all these bees back into this hive, that they will decide to stay this time. I'm really gonna look closely to see if there's a virgin in here or any signs of a queen. I don't see any eggs, larvae, nothing. So I don't know why these bees are just chilling on the frame like it. It looks like it's nurse bees. Okay. And then hopefully they stay in here. I think it's actually more likely that I come back tomorrow and all those bees are at the bottom of the hive again. There's a cluster here, so I'm just seeing if the queen is inside this cluster. Give them a little bit of smoke to get them to unbunch a little bit and see if I've got a queen under there. It'd be really good news if I do, because I feel like maybe the bees underneath would have a reason to stay. I'm not seeing any signs of a queen. So like I said, folks, I'm making this up as I go, game plan wise. So if you've experienced something similar, I'm all ears in the comments. Let me know what you think. This stuff is a little bit head scratching, but that's beekeeping in general. Just when you think you have several things figured out, the bees will prove you dead wrong. And I am happily still learning my lessons. So, nope, I don't see anything. So I'm gonna put this frame back in here, and then I'm going to start taking all the bees underneath this colony and start putting them in here. And they may turn around and exit right away. So that'll be fun. So let's give it a go and see what happens. Now, as you can tell, it's not going to be easy to get all these bees that are at the bottom off of it. One thing I could do, but again, it's just going to disrupt everything because they're also clinging to this 4x4. Probably my best strategy is either to use my hands and try to gently scoop them, or take this bottom board, which I still may do later on, and shake them into a different hive. But again, if they're associating this as their location, I really don't want to do that. So I think I'll just try to gently scoop them up initially and place them in and see what happens. So, and there's a lot of them here. But if you just kind of go gently, for the most part, you can get quite a bit of them. And I'm also looking to see if there's any comb in here, which there may or may not be. And because someone is going to ask, yes, they absolutely can sting you through these gloves. They do frequently, so you just got to try to be pretty gentle with them. And you want to try to get most of them, and you're praying that if there's a queen in here, that you're somehow getting her in this box, because then the rest of the bees are going to want to come inside this entrance. And there's still a ton of bees under here, so I'm trying to get as many as I can up under. You can see how big this swarm is, so it's pretty good size. And the other thing that I'll do is take this IPM board out, okay? And you can create a ladder for your bees. If she's in here and they want to go in the hive, they will find their way up this ladder. Okay. Try to get these bees off my hands. Oh. Yeah, and I just took a couple stings there. So again, if you're wondering if they can sting you through the gloves, they absolutely can. Okay. So I'm going to get the inner cover on. And we might be able to tell if they start nasing-offing and sending a signal to stay in the hive, or if they all just start leaving immediately. There's still a lot of bees in between the 4x4 here. So I'm just going to wait and see what happens for a minute. All the bees are climbing up. Let me see if I can bring you inside here so you can see a little closer. One-man camera crew here, folks, so bear with me. Okay. So you see there's still quite a few bees underneath. They are climbing up the brick, but they could just be climbing up to cluster again at the front. As far as the entrance, I mean, these ones down here, I don't see them really going up or in. The bees up top don't really seem to be saying, hey, come on in here, flying bees. I really like to get the bees that are in between the 4x4 into the box, but I just don't think there's a queen in this cluster. And if that's the case, the bees are just kind of aimlessly walking around. I hope I'm wrong. So what I'm going to try to do next, and I'll go ahead and reposition the tripod so y'all can watch me a little closer. I'm going to move the whole colony off the 4x4s so that I can try to get the bees that are in between the 4x4 into the box. So let's see how this goes. And I don't see any combs, so that tells me, at least, if they're not trying to start a queen, or I'm sorry, that they're not building combs so the queen can start laying right away. I just really think they're not queen right, but look at all those bees in between the 4x4s there, so I gotta try to get all them in the box. Make sure you guys can see this on the camera, but yeah, I see there are some bees that are marching in, but they just look kind of lost to me. I'm not seeing good signs that the queen is in here. So I'm gonna go ahead and try to gently get the rest of these bees in this box. Probably take a few more stings to my hands. We call those bee kisses, at least that's what I call them. It's occupational hazard, folks. All right, so let's give it a whirl here. This is gonna be fun. All right, I am gonna try to give them a little bit of smoke. Doubt it helps very much. All right. Oh goodness, come on, girls. Okay, that was fun. What do we got here? What do we got here? Oh, there's a queen right there. You gotta be kidding me. Oh, come on, let me get her, let me get her, let me get her. Got her. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Where's my... This is why you always keep a queen cage on you. She is marked. Get down, nope, 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 get down there. I'll make sure I got her. Okay, just double checking to make sure I got her in here. Yep, unbelievable. I mean, folks, this is unbelievable. The odds that of this giant ball of bees, I found the queen chilling right there on a 4x4 is nuts. And this is why I mark my queen. So you're not gonna be able to see her in here very well, but she is a red dot queen, and she is in this cage. And I tell you what, folks, I'm not gonna let her loose. So I am going to get all these bees inside the deep real quick. I'm gonna put this queen in the inner cover and I'm gonna leave her in here for a day so these bees do not want to leave, okay? So I gotta do this quick rather than sit here and chat too much. So I'm sticking her in my pocket for now. I'll put my gloves back on because they may not be very happy. I can't believe that. I mean, it's like finding a needle in a haystack. And that's happened to me the last time in What a Mess 1.0. So I don't know. I guess sometimes I just get lucky. So I got to continue to get the rest of these bees the best I can off the 4x4. The fact that the ApiGuard is out of the hive now, I suspect these bees will be a little bit happier. it's just hard. Where's my hive tool? That's what I'm looking for. Here it is. Because the queen is not with them anymore, they are gonna wanna come back, but if I can get them off this 4x4 for the most part, and either flying or away, as soon as I put her inside this colony, the rest of the flying bees and everyone else will start marching in, because right now they're trying to figure out where their queen is. So I'm just trying to knock all the bees off here so I can reset this deep back on its spot. Okay, looking pretty good here. So let's get this back up where it goes. All right, let's get that inner cover on. Okay, try to squish as few bees as possible by just gently rotating this until it makes contact all the way around. And then here's what you do. You leave your queen trapped and you put her right there, right inside that inner cover oval, okay? And now, if I put the top on the hive, okay, put the top on the hive, all those bees should start fanning that she's in here. And I'm gonna leave a bridge. Well, let's see here. I wish I could do like a couple sticks. That'd be really cool for y'all to see. They may or may not figure this out. But they should start nasing-offing that she's in here. They're gonna start climbing up the brick here though. Let me grab the camera again now that I got her in the hive. This is so cool. All right. So you see them all here? They're gonna start marching up that brick. You've got the bees here that are gonna start pumping a pheromone out of their butts. It's called their nasonoph gland, and it puts out a pheromone, secretes is the word I was looking for, that tells all the flying bees and all the bees around, hey, she's in here. Now, I kind of want to put that IPM board back in, otherwise they're naturally going to want to keep clustering up underneath here. And I don't want them to do that. I want them to go in the box, which is what they're doing right there. They're pouring in. That's what you want. And they're not going to leave because the queen can't leave. I've trapped her now. I've got her in that cage, which is the perfect scenario. Okay, let's go ahead and get this IPM board back in, because those bees are naturally going to want to cluster right back up under this 4x4 where they've been, because they're real confused on how to get inside this colony. They don't know yet. So let's go ahead and get this back in, because what that will do is it'll kind of block the queen pheromone from the top here that's coming down into the hive. They won't be able to detect it through the IPM board, and they'll be forced to go through that front entrance, which is what I want them to do. And I'm doing this to try to not squish and kill as many bees, is what I'm trying to do. Okay, I think I got that a little too far in. Let me pull that back out just a hair. Okay, perfect. And these bees, okay. Now, oh, she just tried to sting me there. You can see that stinger stuck in. She got me a little bit through my palm, but I mean, I get it. I get why they are. I'm just Sometimes you wish you could tell your bees I'm here to help you, but they don't seem to get that all the time. So, let's think about this. Mated queen in the hive, marked red. Definitely from one of my colonies, Houdini colonies that absconded on me. So, I know that for a fact now. Which colony? I have no idea. But that's why I mark my queens. So, then it's pretty obvious if it came from my apiary. So, the good news is, I recaptured her. Not going to put any ApiGuard in this colony because I think, for whatever reason, that's why they pieced out. You know, I was talking to my buddy Jake Barker this morning, and he was saying that we as beekeepers tend to give ApiGuard a pass, but it's just as stinky and smelly and perfumey and, you know, just borderline harsh on the bees as all of the miticides. To be clear, not as bad as formic acid. That seems to be the absolute worst. Not worse in a bad way, just the most impactful. But for comparison, ApiVar, which is amitraz, does not impact queen laying or cause bees to want to abscond. So you're going to hear me say this 800 million times if you watch my channel. There is always, always, always pros and cons to everything in beekeeping. Everything, which is why you will hear me get on my soapbox anytime I hear other beekeepers try to state emphatically that there is only one way to do X or only one way to do Y. That drives me absolutely insane because it's not true. There are many, many ways to do different things in beekeeping. And we are all, as beekeepers, trying to do what's best for our bees. I don't care who you are. Otherwise, why are you keeping bees? So, this cluster down here hasn't figured it out yet, but I'm hoping they eventually start marching up the brick and into the hive. I still see lots of bees going in, so that tells me that they know their queen is inside. And by the time I come out here tomorrow, the majority of these bees should be inside the deep. Hopefully. Still got some stragglers on the outside. I think they'll eventually make their way around to the front. Hopefully they figure it out. But the important thing is I got the queen inside. I've got her caged. I know she's not going anywhere. Her pheromone is permeating throughout the hive right now. So that queen pheromone is telling all these bees that she's in here, and they will slowly march their way in. I still cannot believe that I found her. That's, you know, seriously, folks. You saw how many thousands and thousands of bees, and I found the one bee in the haystack. Now, I also think it 100% helped that she had a red dot on her back, which made her stick out. But you saw when I was scooping up all those bees, I was hopeful that I was just getting the queen and putting her in the hive. I had not gotten her yet. Of all those thousands of bees down here, I still had not gotten her yet. So, yeah, so really there's nothing much else to do other than let nature take its course here, and the bees should continue to march into this hive once they figure out that their queen is in there. And having the top on and the lid on and no other entrance into the hive now except through this opening should help. Now, I don't know. I'm not really crazy about these IPM boards that leave the gap, because that pheromone now is still able to get through here, and there you can see bees are still kind of confused, like, how the heck do I get in here to my queen? And that is one of the downsides of a screen bottom board versus a solid bottom board, is that the queen pheromone is allowed to get through the screen in the bottom. Typically the IPM board is supposed to help stop that, but these manufacturers that put the IPM board lower than where the actual screen is doesn't really resolve that. So what do? Nothing. That's the answer. Or my fellow beekeeper open screen board haters will tell me that's why you don't use open screen boards. You know, they're big solid bottom board fans, and that's fine. Once again, pros and cons to each. I can argue in favor and against both screen and solid bottom boards. Just ask me. I promise you I can. There's lots of pros and cons to each one. Okay, wow. What an excellent happy ending, I would say. And I'm starting to see bees maybe figure out that they're see the bees starting to march over here like, hey girls, this way, we got it figured out. It's just kind of neat to watch the march. They're not marching significantly, but you can still see that bees are absolutely going into the hive here, and they are figuring it out. So it's just a matter of time. And this cluster, I'm assuming, will eventually come up here and find their way back into the colony. So, whew. All right, that was fun. Isn't that awesome to do after you get off work of an evening? So you say you want to be a beekeeper. This is what you get to do at 7, 8 o'clock at night on a hot Kentucky summer day. You get to come out here and play with bees and try to figure out why they're clustering somewhere and what to do about it and all that good stuff. So, but yeah, as you can see, I think the majority of them are starting to go in, which is a good sign. Let's go ahead and look up underneath. I mean, inevitably, there's still going to be some bees up under this 4x4. Let me take a look here. Yeah, so you're still gonna have that. What I can do is, I can take a handful of them like this, and I can put them right there at the entrance. Take another handful. Oh gosh. And they sting me. Yep, there we go. And if I put these sticks, I'll break this one in half and see if it'll still reach. They might be able to hang on to these sticks here and climb up and meet their fellow girls here. They'll figure it out. I'm just trying to coax them on, letting them know where the correct entrance is. Even if you could get them flying, that helps too, because the bees at the front that are nasing offing will tell them where to go. But again, inevitably, you're still going to have some bees up under here for the next 1 or 2 days. Look at that. You're still going to have that because they're just used to going in there. Eventually, they'll find their way home or they'll fly off because they'll figure out that the queen is inside here. As you can see, they continue to slowly march in, figuring it out as the bees continue to let them know she's in here. Some of the bees up here are still kind of confused, trying to figure out how to get in, but it's fun, huh? Other than, getting the bee kisses, which is, like I said, occupational hazard. It's still fun, so. All right. Get one last scoop of them here, and then we'll be done. The ones on the ground I'm going to leave because I don't want to injure too many bees. Just trying to get the bulk of them that are easy to get off the edges here. Give them a ladder that way. They're starting to go up it here. I'm going to grab the camera again. It's just fun to watch this stuff, guys. Look at this. Give them a little ladder here. Do-do-do. Still a little bit of confusion, but they'll get it. There's no other bees in here. Or queens, I mean. There's no other queens that I can see. Anytime you see like a ball of bees on the ground, if they stay in that ball, be looking for a queen. Whether that could be a virgin or another mated queen, it's always possible. So that's why I always kind of do my diligence and do a couple of scans just to see. But I don't see I don't see anything else on the ground here, so these bees will eventually either fly off or make their way up here. But yeah, that's it. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. I thought it was pretty fun and exciting, and finding the needle in the haystack was particularly exciting for me. So if you guys enjoyed this video, I would appreciate it if you give it the thumbs up, share with all your friends, and be sure to leave a comment. I always appreciate hearing from everybody. I really do try to respond to every comment that I get. So I really appreciate you guys watching, and I hope to see you on the next video, although I hope it's not What a Mess 3.0. So thanks again for watching, folks, and I'll see you on the next one.